Good morning, all. Thank you for being here. Thank you, Finovate. I was talking with my family this morning as we were praying, getting them ready to go to school. My kids asked me, "So what are you going to do? How exciting is it?" And I said, "Well, I'm actually going to show you. So what I'm going to do is take a selfie of everybody here, so that I know that when we win Best of Show, you're all going to look great in it. In this, and by the way, I know who you are in the front rows. So in this, what I wanted to do was just ask a real quick question. For those of you, have you ever had to deal with a life event like having a child, losing a job, having to go through and actually deal with somebody who has a chronic illness or a serious disease like Alzheimer's? If you could, raise your hand. It's a lot more than I thought. Now, on the other side to that, please keep them up if you felt that you were fully prepared for that event. Wow, I don't see anyone. Well, neither were we. My family had gone through a major incident. My grandfather had passed away from Alzheimer's, and when he did, we had to put him into a long-term care facility. What we didn't realize was how much that it actually cost. We're talking $15,000 a month for 4 years, close to $700,000. That's why I started this company. My name is Robert Kirk. I'm the founder and CEO of InterGen Data, and I'm here to show you that you can use data, you can use analytics to predict life events so that, one, you can actually start to attract and go after new customers. Two, you can have better, more contextual relationships with your customers. Three, you can actually go in and retain more customers and do it in a very compliant way by linking the impetus of what the client is doing to the product, to the revenue that you generate. Yes, I'm talking best interest and suitability. These are the underpinnings of what we do in our industry. So what I'm going to show you now is an example of what our technology does. This is a very quick run through of a walkthrough that we'll go through, and it basically shows you what we do. It's a robo-like approach. Let's say 11 to 15 years. I'm purchasing this for a big investment. I'm kind of moderate in growth. 50,000 is good. I'm going to hit continue. This is where I start to change how we use data. Data you have, data from outside sources. I start to ask different questions about demographics. So I happen to be Native American Indian. I'm not going to tell you my age yet. I'm going to put 18 for the reason that I want you to see what analytics and AI will show me is going to happen in my life. I'm male. I'm turning around. I went to college. I have my bachelor's degree. I've gone through and I actually took, believe it or not, political science and pre-law. So I'm going to select that. I live in Texas and in an urban area. Once you have this done, you can actually go to the next screens where it talks a little bit more about family. Now, I have all the data that tells you when you're likely to get married, who you're likely to get married to, how many times, and how many children. But I'm going to show you what that is, and I'm going to let the computer actually pick this. Same thing with the house, which is the next screen. I'm not going to fill in the data. I can either call this via API or actually just let the computer do it. So I'm going to go through this, and then here's where I really change some things. I start to ask questions about healthcare, but not PII. What I want to know is you have two sets of generations. You have your grandparents as one set, and you have your parents, which is closer to you. So what I've come up with is a very simple formula that actually says if my grandparents, neither of them had a disease, then basically I would be low, maybe 8 to 11% likelihood of getting that disease. If one of them had it, I stair step up. If both of them have it, it might be anywhere from 38 to 42% chance. But then I go to the closer generation. If my parents had a disease, then guess what? I'm likely to get that. Now, if they both had something, and something as critical as cancer, then guess what? The chances are very high that I would get it. So I take this information and plot this through to a different screen where you can really see what's happening. Well, not this one. This is a nice little pie chart, but the magic happens here. When we start looking at our life stage, life event, predictive tab, we start to see the various pieces of what my life would look like. The end of my life, when it would likely happen, when I would actually go through, potentially buy my first house, have my first marriage, have my first child, my second child, and as you can see here, 29 was the age that it projected that I would have our first child. Well, I'm telling you here that we had our first miscarriage at 31. We had our second miscarriage at 33. So you can take this data and shift it over and then see it live in the screen. But what's more important is it actually starts to show you the costs of what it takes to have those children. And if you want to focus on that, you can actually take out some of the information and try to see what's actually in that cost. So if I want to focus and I want to know exactly what it is and where it is, I can actually have something that's specific to me, and I can look and say, oh my gosh, I'm looking at this. It's going to cost me about $40,000 when our kids get older. Have you thought about that? Have you put that into your plans? Maybe not. But the other most important thing about this is not just what you see here, it's the fact that I'm more than this. I'm a family. So I turned around and put up here, and I can go back through and collect everything. I put my wife in here. I put her in as a model to show you what would happen if we had children, what would happen and what would be the likelihood of all of these events happening. I'm here to say this. Right here, it predicted that she would have cancer at the age of 45. She did not get cancer at the age of 45. She got it at 48. 8 months ago, we went through this. What was really interesting was the fact that I didn't know what it would take from a financial perspective. And none of the banks, none of the insurance companies, none of the people out there that provide services to us, even in my own financial plans. I'm an ex-CIO of a top 30 independent BD, and guess what? I couldn't have done this. But today, data can help you do this. Data can help you grab the attention of your clients and have much deeper conversations, more important conversations. And you can take this data and you can call it via an API. You can use your Alexa, my Alexa. I don't care. I want to provide you the data on this. I want to show you what it looks like. Because when you start looking at families, you start realizing that all of these life events could happen at once. So I have a 14-year-old, I have an 11-year-old. At the age my 11-year-old goes to college, could be the same age that my 14-year-old goes to medical school. Well, guess who's paying for both? So now I've got to think about other things. What if I get a critical illness? What if I have to take care of my mother-in-law? I can now put this data in there and actually see projected cash flows, but we're not talking made-up numbers. We're talking real numbers that are statistically driven. I'm also here to tell you that in the next couple of weeks, we're going to be launching our next version, which you see here, which also includes college costs. It includes cars. It includes homes. And by the end of the year, we're going to have 21 additional healthcare items on there. This is your time to use data. What's out there in the world, what you guys have, to be able to have better conversations, and more importantly, to really, truly relate. Because I'll tell you this, if there was an advisor who actually came to me 10 years ago, 7 years ago, 17 years ago, and said, you're likely to have cancer, you should save for this, I probably would have told them to get out in a very nice way. Today, I would do everything in my power to give them all of my money. That's the power of data. That's what we're here to do, to show you how you can use this data. We're here to integrate with you. We're here to partner with you. We're here to develop the next wave, what we believe is going to be in financial services all across the globe. Thank you.